Sometimes the best answer to a massive global problem isn't some top-down policy. Sometimes it comes from the ground up. Today, we're going to dive into this incredible handbook for mental health that was created by and for young people in Uganda. It's a powerful grassroots response to a huge challenge, and honestly, the lessons in it are for everyone.
So, to really get why this handbook is so important, we first have to understand the scale of the problem they were facing. In Uganda, communities are up against a mental health challenge that touches millions of lives. And when I say millions, I mean it. A staggering 14 million Ugandans are dealing with mental disorders. Think about that for a second. That's nearly a quarter of all the kids and adults in the entire country. It's like a silent epidemic with a massive footprint. And the impact isn't just personal, it's global. Experts estimate that between 2011 and 2030, mental health issues could cost the global economy an absolutely astonishing $16 trillion. So yeah, this is a challenge that really does affect all of us.
But here's the incredible part. Faced with these overwhelming numbers, a group of students didn't just sit back and wait for someone else to find a solution. Nope, they decided to build one themselves. Right there at the Bilal Islamic Institute, these students got together and formed the Mental Health Association. Their mission? It was super clear. Empower their friends and classmates with real information and life skills. And their main tools for making that change happen was a handbook they wrote themselves called The Healthy Mind. Their entire mission was captured in this simple but incredibly profound motto from the handbook. A healthy mind is an asset. That became their rallying cry, a powerful reminder that our mental well-being is maybe the most valuable thing we have.
So, what's actually in this handbook? Well, it tackles the big topics head-on, starting with something we all deal with, stress. And the students came up with a really brilliant way to help us visualize how all that pressure affects us.
They use this concept called the stress curve. And what's so powerful about this is how it completely reframes stress. See, it's not just a bad thing, it's a whole spectrum. And just understanding where you are on this curve, that's the first step to actually managing it.
So way over on the left, you've got too little stress. This is the boredom zone. We've all been there, right? That job with zero challenge where you're just not engaged, you're not growing, and your performance is pretty low.
But as you add a little more pressure, you start to climb, and you hit this sweet spot. Optimum stress, also called eustress. This is where we thrive. It's that good kind of stress from a deadline or a big game that sharpens your focus, boosts creativity, and helps you perform at your absolute best. But if you tip over that peak, you slide into overload. This is too much stress. And here, performance starts to drop off a cliff. You feel anxious, irritable, just totally overwhelmed. You know that feeling of having way too many deadlines and no time to breathe? That's this zone. And if that overload goes on and on without any relief, it leads to the final dangerous stage, burnout. And let's be clear, this is not just being tired. We're talking about a state of complete mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion. It's the serious consequence of chronic, unmanaged stress.
Now, beyond the practical models, the handbook shares something that might be even more powerful: personal stories. These are raw, honest accounts that remind you of the real human being behind all the statistics.
Just listen to this piece from a poem in the book called A Prisoner. It just so vividly captures that feeling of being trapped by mental illness. These words paint a picture of isolation and despair that's just incredibly moving, and for anyone who's struggled, deeply relatable. The handbook also tells the story of a woman named Marianne. She faced just unimaginable hardship, being orphaned, stuck in a toxic marriage, and she even had a near-death experience. It all led to a deep mental health crisis. But her story doesn't end there. She got help, she accepted her depression, and now she works as a guidance counselor herself. It's an incredible testament to recovery. And this quote from a story called From Victim to Victor really gets to the heart of hope. It talks about that turning point, that moment when the light finally starts to break through the darkness. It's just a powerful reminder that change is always possible, even from the deepest, darkest places. So, after understanding the challenges and hearing these inspiring stories, the handbook gets down to business. It gives you the tools to start building your own mental resilience with clear, actionable advice. It starts with these key coping strategies. And look, none of this is rocket science, but that's what makes it so powerful. Things like mindfulness, staying connected with people you care about, and just asking for help. These are the foundations, the pillars of mental wellness.
And for students, the handbook breaks it down even further. It offers this super clear guide covering everything from managing your time and getting enough sleep to the huge importance of taking breaks and actually talking about how you feel. It's basically a practical checklist for a healthier mind.
The handbook leaves us with one final, powerful thought. If one can build a fortress in life, it should be a fortress of mind. Because when you think about it, everything else can be taken away in a second, but your mind is with you until the very end. So the question it leaves us with is this: how are you fortifying yours?